Everybody, and welcome to the closing bell here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock, here to wrap up today's trading session. The Dow Jones closed at 19,919, off of that psychological 20,000 level, down about 0.1%. The Nasdaq did close down at 5447.40, down about 0.4%. You had the S&P closing down at 2260.96, down about almost 0.2%. Now, the action across the board came on lower volume, and you should probably expect this, barring any type of headline over the next week, that we're going to expect having lower volume. Participation dropped off on the New York Stock Exchange, only around 725 million shares traded versus an average of 994 million. NASDAQ, 1.5 billion traded usually on an average day, we'll see about 1.8 billion. The decliners outpaced the advancers on both New York and the NASDAQ, and you did have new highs outpacing lows on both exchanges. So some definite mixed action, but to the downside. Where we did see some relative strength today, most notable, volatility. If you take a look at the VIX complex or the VXX ETF, VXX was up 1.93%. Basically, you're starting to see that going into the tail end of the year, vol is very inexpensive at this juncture, maybe getting some exposure to the volatility product going into the Christmas holiday and New Year. Might be worth looking at if you're not going to be willing to cut any of your profits at this juncture. You also saw that U.S. Telecom, take a look at IYZ, it was up about 1.3%. That counter-cyclical sector was on the move, as well as diesel and heating. UHN was up about 0.9%, almost 1% today. You also had oil and gas exploration and products up. XOP is the ticker symbol on that particular sector ETF, up about 0.6%. You also did have crude trading off of its best levels, but challenging and staying above that $53 level. Where we did see some notable weakness in the softs to start off with. Coffee, JO is an ETF that you can take a look at, down about 4.1%. You also have continued to see retail under pressure. XRT is the retail ETF, down 3.42%. There's been disappointing earnings from Bed Bath & Beyond, Finish Line, and a number of other notable bricks and mortars. Just really struggling right now, and we're going to have to watch these holiday sales numbers going into the end of the year and into the beginning of 2017. You're also seeing cocoa. NIB is an ETF you can watch at down 3.2%. Also copper miners, COPX down 2%, and home builders. XHB is an ETF that you can take a look at, down 1.97%. And that's interesting to see that action because we're going to have new home sales tomorrow due out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So we're going to want to keep an eye on this, see if the markets were moving in front of that number. But that's going to be out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. You're also going to have the final reading on the Michigan Sentiment Index for December. We're going to see if this actually adds a little early morning volatility to the markets, but it should be relatively tame and quiet tomorrow. But we'll have to see. With that being said, we will be back online tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern time for taking a look at the overnight action. We'll take a look at the close of Asia, as well as the action in Europe, and just kind of surmise what's going on in the pre-markets here in the United States. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for being on the closing bell this afternoon, and wishing everybody a wonderful evening. And we will talk to you tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern time on the Overnight Action Report. Take care, everybody.